take a look at disability at work. Disabled people's unemployment continues to be a serious issue for policymakers and academic researchers alike. Interventions directed at alleviating this issue, however, tend to focus on how to gain employment, ignoring the factors that lead to or impede employment. Research suggests this is because past initiatives do not assist employers or employees to understand discrimination and the obstacles that disadvantaged groups face. The disabled community in particular face significant barriers to obtaining employment. In societies around the world, they are more likely than other workers to be unemployed or underemployed and experience disproportionate inequity in the workforce, facing barriers that are beyond their perceived functional limitation. Paid work has been recognized as fundamental to social inclusion of individuals with disabilities, yet disabled people continue to be marginalized from meaningful employment. It's estimated that 15% of the global population lives with a form of a disability, yet evidence confirms that people with disabilities continue to be disadvantaged in the labor market. Despite the importance of disability issues in the workplace, there's a lack of research from organizational perspectives. Traditionally, the employment gap for disabled people was attributed to an individual's medical condition. This view, known as the individual or medical model of disability, focuses on individual and medical problems where disability is a consequence of a person's impairment. The failure of this model to acknowledge the fundamental social challenges that affect disabled people's lifestyles, such as education, transportation, and workplace culture, has resulted in their rejection by disabled people and professionals. A progressive shift in the conceptualization of disability from a medical perspective to one that's acknowledged how social structures and constraining environments impose limitations to inclusion give rise to the social model of disability. Within the social model, disability is defined as the relationship between impairment and society, and thus an outcome of social oppression caused by a diverse system of social constraints, restrictive environments, and disabling barriers. The affirmative model, which encourages positive identification with disability, builds on the social model by including experiences of being disabled and supporting a positive identity with disability culture. The affirmative model inspires a future vision of positive self-determination with full participation and equal rights for disabled people within a society that values and embraces difference. The type of disability a person has can indirectly influence how they're treated and perceived by their colleagues in the workplace. People who experience stigmatization are considered socially disabled if the result of limited opportunities and resources made available to them, which can lead to poverty and exclusion. Organizational cultures and practices play a significant role in perpetuating inequality experienced by disabled employees. The specific challenges faced by people with disabilities are not universal, but rather can change based on residence. According to the Disability Rights Commission, 86% of disabled people between 16 and 24 believe it's more difficult for disabled people to find work, and 30% expect to earn less than others their age because of their disability. In the U.S., despite government attempts to address this issue, previous disability policies in the U.S. actually increased dependence on the government instead of encouraging independence and active participation in society. What society now realizes is that it's not simply a matter of developing new policies and practices, but rather there's an urgent need to shift mainstream society mindset about working with disabled people. The United Nations introduced the Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, which is the first legally binding international instrument to protect the human rights of people with disabilities. Sociocultural context influence beliefs about disabled people and affect how they're treated and their opportunities for work. Dominant normative constructs of ableism encourage the valuing and commodification of ability. These beliefs reinforce negative stereotypes of disability and perceptions of disabled people's capability and capacity, creating social barriers that influence inequality and discrimination in the workplace. Evidence suggests that disabled employees experience more procedural injustice and are more likely to perceive negative work experiences because of inadequate support and a lack of opportunity. Disabled employees are subjected to higher levels of overt discrimination and are more prone to experience workplace bullying than any minority group. Misuse of power is evident through negative work practices and adverse decision-making processes surrounding disabled employees' work circumstance. While the issues faced by disabled employees are complex and multidimensional, it's important to be cognizant that not all disabilities are physically visible, nor is the principal goal to have employees disclose their respective disability. Supervisors play a significant role in supporting disabled employees in the workplace. With the rise of autism diagnoses, the prevalence of neurodivergent adults entering the workforce is also increasing. Unfortunately for many, they're unable to find permanent employment despite possessing an incredibly valuable set of skills. As a result, parents have become increasingly innovative and proactive to change the situation. Aspertech is a company that started in 2008 by Brenda Weitzberg and her husband after watching their son struggle to find employment. While businesses was slow at first, their software testing company has grown exponentially within the last few years. With an impressive list of clients such as Bose, Medline, Johnson & Johnson, just to name a few, they recently surpassed the $2 million mark in revenue and employ 59 neurodiverse adults. However, startups and technology are not mutually exclusive. Spectrum Designs, which specializes in customized apparel, began their journey in 2011 in a barn. Since then, the company has seen a remarkable increase in growth. Their clients include Neiman Marcus and Facebook, and the company now generates close to $1.5 million in sales. Approximately 75% of their workforce consists of adult on the spectrum. These success stories have resulted in an increase in the number of organizations offering financial or educational support to facilitate neurodiversity employment. Take the University of Miami, for example. Using a $510,000 grant, they introduced Awakening the Autism Entrepreneur, a program used to assist autistic entrepreneurs in developing their ideas. While programs such as these are still in their infancy, neurological diversity is an opportunity for those who are interested.